Welcome to another day in Mawlamyine, and I'm heading to Shampoo Island for a 5-fact challenge. I know next to nothing about this island, Shampoo Island, so that makes it a good subject for a 5-fact challenge. I have to go to this island and learn 5 interesting things about it. All I know is that it's called Shampoo Island, and there is a sacred spring on the island, and the kings of Burma would go there to wash their hair with water from this sacred spring, and when they did that, it would bring them good luck and prosperity. What makes this island interesting for me is that it's right here inside city limits, pretty much. All I have to do is walk along Strand Road, like walk along the river until I get near the bridge, the big railway road bridge. And from there you can take a local boat to the island. It's right there beside the bridge. It takes, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes at the most to get there. And yeah, just the fun of taking a boat, that was more than enough to get me interested. And I think it costs maybe around 3,000 Chat, $2 or something like that, to take the boat for a foreigner. Again, I'm not sure about that, but we'll find out. My walk to the boat to Shampoo Island is taking me past the big market area. The last time I was here, I was speculating that it was a really special market day because it was so busy with so many trucks. But you look at it again today, it looks pretty much exactly the same. And I spoke to a couple of guys at my guest house, and I asked them whether there was a special market day, and they said no. You know, they said every day was market day. So I guess it's kind of this busy every single day. Markets are always fascinating. You never know what you're going to come across. Just walking along the sidewalk, and my way is blocked by these floats. I assume they're used for fishing nets, boats, you know, that kind of thing. This is a dock that I walked out onto last time. It was filled with people and little cafes and shops all along that walkway. Yeah, it looks pretty busy today, though not quite as busy as the other day, I don't think. I walked out onto that floating dock the last time I came through here, but I don't think that boat was there. So I'm going to walk down onto the, the floating dock again and take a closer look at it. And get quite a nice view with this handy dandy zoom lens. And now I remember, this boat, the dredge, was definitely not here last time. I remember looking at this boat and being very puzzled by what it was and what it was for. It's just like a solid battering ram, It's just got steel cement top, and I don't see any doors or windows of any kind, and that's what confused me about it. But look at this dredge. That is amazing. Ooh. Just step down onto the barge, or this this battering ram boat, just to take a closer look at this dredge. It's made of wood, it looks like. It's a wooden boat. It has wooden walls and wooden planks on the inside there. And couldn't begin to tell you exactly how it works. Obviously, they pump water up from the bottom of the river, with these big hoses. And then it dumps out into those screens over there. And I guess a certain size, like sand, I guess, would fall through those holes. And then the sand would get fall out back into the river, and then only the larger stones would fall into the bottom of the boat here. But what I'm wondering, well, I guess, okay, I'm thinking the sand and the water would fall through those screens, and then only the stones would collect here. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I was wondering, if they're pumping and pumping water into this boat, it's just going to sink. How do they get rid of the water? But I guess most of the water just falls out that screen. But they must have a pumping mechanism as well for getting rid of the water. And there's a closer look at the screen where I think all of the action takes place. Water and sand falling through, and then gravel and small stones falling down into the bottom of the boat. This is definitely a working boat. Nothing but tools and motors and spare parts. And on the inside, you can see it's not really built for comfort. This is a working ship. Hello. I managed to get a quick look down into the bottom of the ship, bottom of this dredging boat, and they're clearly like really working on the engine. They had the whole engine torn down, and that's what they're busy trying to fix. Shampoo Island, by the way, is over in that direction, like on the other side of the bridge. That might even be Shampoo Island that we can see right there. Though my understanding is it's quite a small island. Might be around the corner, I'm not sure. All right, nice little detour. Let's continue our walk along the strand. Okay. And that's the street that I walked up the other day, I think, or did I come this way? Yeah, I did. I think I headed up in that direction. I think I spotted Shampoo Island. That has to be it right there, just on the other side of the bridge. It's a lot closer to the shore than I expected, based on how it looks from here. Technical note for anyone keeping score. Today I'm shooting with 2 cameras at the same time. I've got my Panasonic G85 on a tripod, and then I have the GoPro mounted on top of the G85 with the Rode Wireless Go mounted on top of that. And the Rode Wireless Go microphone is feeding into both cameras simultaneously. So it seems to work. You know, all the experts tell me that it won't work. You know, you can't split a microphone into 2 cameras, but I bought a Y-splitter and it seems to be working. The whole rig altogether, I weighed it this morning, comes to about 3 pounds. Like somewhere between 1.3, 1.4 kilograms. Yeah, about 3 pounds. So it's not the lightest rig in the world, but it's not the heaviest either. Just for fun, I'll show you what the difference is in perspective, what you see with the 2 cameras. This is the Panasonic G85 using a 12 millimeter lens. That's in micro four thirds. So that would be 18 millimeters on APS-C or 24 millimeters in full frame equivalent. And that's what it looks like on the Panasonic G85. And now I'll switch over to the GoPro right now. And today I have the GoPro set to linear mode. So this is the, I guess, not, is it the narrowest field of view for video, linear? It takes away some of that fisheye effect. Again, just for comparison, I will switch it over to the regular GoPro mode right now. So there it is there. I call it regular GoPro, but in the menu it is wide. So there's linear and then wide. And this is what the wide looks like on the GoPro. And there's one more after that, which I think is called super wide. And we're going to change into super wide right now. So I got my terminology wrong. This is not super wide. GoPro calls it super view. So this is the super view mode as opposed to wide and linear. So I've got 4 different points of view I could use today. Panasonic 12mm, GoPro linear, GoPro wide, and GoPro super view. There's definitely a little bit of a waste management problem going on in Mawlamyine. All these little rivers and creeks coming out of the town are just absolutely filthy. Here you can barely even see the water through all the garbage. And there's a real nasty smell that comes out of most of the rivers and streams here. Funny thing, when you're a tourist like me, everybody knows what you're doing. Everyone knows your business. I mean, when I see a local person walking by, this guy driving by in his truck, I don't really know where he's going. I have no idea what his day has been so far. But I'm walking down this little road here heading towards the bridge, and 3 people so far have come up to chat with me, and they all say, "Oh, you're going to Shampoo Island. Go to the island? Shampoo Island?" You know, any foreigner that comes through here, you know, they know I'm heading to Shampoo Island, you know. We're so predictable. I haven't quite reached the boat to Shampoo Island yet. Came across this interesting little detour. It's like a pagoda built around a fish pond. I was about to say that I can't imagine many fish living in there, but I just heard a splash. So there's definitely something living in there. There's a tree outside of this pagoda with the fish pond, and I think this tree has the days of the week Buddha stations here, where you pour water over the Buddha. And one of the things I learned on my last 5-fact challenge was to recognize my birthday of the week, which is Wednesday. So I'm going to go inside and see if I can find Wednesday. And if I remember right, Wednesday looks like it has 2 sets of keys, and there it is there. So there's 1 key at the front and then a double key at the back. So this one is Wednesday. But I think for this one you would have to bring your own water because there's no water in there at the moment. I'm still not sure if there really are 7 or 8 of them. As I said before, I think there are 2 for Wednesday. So let's count them. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. The one with the box, I think that's Thursday. 5, 6, 7. But then there's the largest one here at the very front. So there are, in fact, 8 of them in total. So I think there are 2 for Wednesday. Something like that. I'll have to figure that out. The 5-fact challenge has begun. Fact number 1, the local name for Shampoo Island is Guansay Island. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it quite right, but something like Guansay Island. I don't know exactly what Guansay means, but it has to be something like shampoo. I have a feeling it's a bit more literary than that. The English word shampoo doesn't sound very romantic or literary. Guansay probably more properly translates as cleansing or, you know, hair purifying or something like that. I'm just guessing though. It's a pretty crazy back road getting to this place. Tons of these gravel trucks roaring up and down. So there must be some kind of a construction project going on up there. Another gravel truck coming up behind me. I can hear it anyway. Whew. Well, no question this is a hot and sunny day. Sun is beating down. And I'm right underneath the longest rail and road bridge in Myanmar. And there it is there. So the train tracks are up there somewhere. Another quick detour, I think, before I get to the island and the boats. I found these stairways heading up to the bridge. I wonder if they're open to a wandering pedestrian from Canada. Let's go find out. That would be a no as far as climbing the stairs up to the bridge is concerned. I can't get across this fence. It swings around into a private property. Unless there's an opening over here, then there's no way to get over to these stairs. Oh, look at that. Spoke too soon. This apparently, ow, just hurt my knee. I don't know whether this is supposed to be open, but it is open. A little bit of a tight fit when I got hooked on the barbed wire up there. But I'm at the stairs. I'm walking through all kinds of cobwebs. So apparently not too many people go up these stairs. Starting to get a views. And there's the city, and though that's Mahuni Pagoda, and then Kiek Than Lan Pagoda. And here's the bridge. Wow, look at that. I don't see anybody on this bridge. Nobody's using it to cross the river. Here are the railroad tracks. I'll walk a little ways anyway, just so I can take a look at Shampoo Island. No point in walking all the way across. I remember coming across by train, and the trip across seemed to take forever. This is, you know, they're not joking when they say this is a long bridge. And of course, the train is moving pretty slowly, but still, that's a long walk. And I don't think there's much to see on the other side that you can't see on this side. Maybe I can see the boats heading out to Guansay Island as well. And there it is. Shampoo Island. Still walking along the bridge. Just wanted to get a bit closer to Shampoo Island. It's another view of Shampoo Island. See if we can zoom in a little bit closer. I'm not even going to speculate about the island. I'll keep all that information for my 5-fact challenge. We'll see what I can find out when I get there, if anything. If I can get there. There's the shoreline. And I assume that these are the boats that take people out to Shampoo Island. But it's not like there's a bustling traffic. There isn't a single person anywhere in sight. Looks like those boats out there are sand and gravel dredges. I don't hear any motors running though, so I guess they're not working. There's Shampoo Island and the dock area with the boats right down here. So I think I have to go to where these gates are, and then maybe this man, I just spotted him there. There might be some men in one of these buildings. They will come out to greet me and see if they want to take me across to the island. And down the stairs we go. Ah, there's another sign. Very helpful signs everywhere, pointing the way. Guansay Island. The sign is a little bit hidden. I didn't even see it at first, but it has an arrow pointing in that direction. Ah, nice view of the bridge. Look at that. Very dramatic. I always like straight lines like that sort of go off to the horizon. Perspective, man. Looks like these young guys are carrying firewood across to the island. Yikes. Got some dangerous wood. A lot of nails in there. I think I'm going to take a seat in the shade here for a few minutes. Let's see if anyone notices me and wants to take me across. A young fellow snuck up behind me and asked me if I wanted to go to the island. I said yes. He says the price is 5,000 chat for a boat ride to go there and back here again. I'm not sure if that's a standard price or anything. I didn't argue with him. I just said okay. And he's run off to make some arrangements, I guess. And that's for going to the island and then back again. So I assume he will just wait for me, or someone will wait and take me back. I don't think it's the kind of trip where you get a ticket or anything like that. Now, that is a heavy load. Yeah, there's my young boat driver there. Looks like he's trying to get one boat free. The other one's, this one's a little bit stuck on the ground. Before he told me the price, he did ask me whether I was just one person. So I think if there was more than one, I think I saw something online about 3,000 being the price. So if you're more than one person, maybe it's 3,000 to go across. But since I'm only one, it's not really worth their while. So the price went up to 5. Maybe this is the real boat driver, and that boy is his helper. Ah, they got the boat free. Oh, there we have a boat coming from probably quite a bit further away. A whole group of people. Okay, time to board the boat. Oh. Hello. Get here. Okay. Oh, thank you. So he's has an umbrella and he's helping cover me from the sun. Pushing off from shore. So you can probably see my boat driver behind me. This is going to be a very short trip. Does that count as a fact? It's going to take like 3 minutes, 2 minutes to get from shore to the island. This appears to be our dock. It's got a very tropical setting with the trees, all the palm trees, the blue sky. Ooh. Look at that ship coming around. That is a big one. Slowly coming into dock. I had no idea this was such a shipping lane. A large ship like this is going by every couple of minutes, every 5 minutes or so, another one goes by. And this lane off to the left, it heads out to the bay and out to the sea. And then you can also go out to the sea heading in that direction, but it's a much longer journey. And up there is the rivers going inland, you know, into the interior of the country. Another large boat going by Shampoo Island. And there goes my boat. I asked him whether I should pay him now, and he said no, pay him later, or pay somebody later. So I guess I pay after I go back to the mainland. First views of Shampoo Island behind me. I don't know if this counts as a fact, but from a tourism point of view, it's a fact. The whole island is a no shoes, no socks zone. So all of the dress codes that apply to a temple or a pagoda, they apply to this entire island. So it might be a little bit hot on the feet. I'm not sure about these stones out there, how comfortable it's going to be walking around. Let's go find out. Here's a sign breaking it down, but it's not entirely clear. Visitors are not allowed to wear shoes except novices and monks at the area of the Buddha. So it's a complicated English sentence. Does it mean visitors are not allowed to wear shoes at the area of the Buddha, but you can wear them in other places? It also seems to imply that novices and monks are also visitors. Visitors are not allowed to wear shoes except monks and novices. Anyway, the basic idea is you do not wear shoes or socks on the island. There's a nice little sign too. Any visitors, whatever their religions, may be cordially welcome to this island and can take pictures with any kinds of camera free of charge. However, taking any kinds of liquor, beer, and narcotic drugs are not allowed. And that all makes sense. There's a map of the whole island. It's not a large place. And the most important place has to be the spring. I'm guessing that this symbol is the symbol for the spring, kind of like a well. And, well, there's a few different spots. There's one here in the middle, and then one over here on the edge. But this one in the middle seems to be the most prominent, with a pagoda there. But as always, I think I'll be first walking around the edge, you know, all the way around the outside. This is where I got dropped off. This is the dock. They have a nice cement trail, stone trail going all the way around. And there's a very dramatic sight. The Buddha image and his two guardian dragons. I wonder what these guardian dragons are called, because they're not lions. These aren't chintha, though they have a kind of a snake-like body, but a head like a dragon. Could be that there are feet underneath here, but I don't see any feet. So it really does look a little bit like a snake with a dragon head. I wonder what the name is. Yeah, I'm very glad I made the trip out here to this little island. It's very peaceful out here, very green, lots of shady areas underneath all these trees. It's very nicely groomed as well. It's nice to see. It's just a quiet, peaceful spot to hang out in for a little while. Right now I'm looking out over the water, back towards the bridge and the city. From this perspective, you couldn't possibly guess that the fourth largest city in Myanmar was sitting right over there. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And there it is there. No skyscrapers dominating the horizon, no roar of traffic, at least from here. Very sleepy looking place. The highlight of this visit continues to be just the chance to be in amongst all this foliage, all this greenery. A lot of potted plants and natural trees and bush all around. It's really quite nice. I feel like you're in a little bit of a jungle. I started wondering that if this island were abandoned and all the people just left right away, how long would it take before the jungle just reclaimed it entirely? And then all these stupas we see now would basically crumble away and there'd just be remains, like some sort of an Indiana Jones set, you know? That's what it would turn into very quickly, I think. But there's never any getting away from construction, of course. Looks like this stupa is being repaired or perhaps built. So I've got all these construction materials lying around. Got to watch my bare feet a little bit so I don't step on a nail or barbed wire or something. And my 5-fact challenge is still not making much progress. I'm sure these signs give the history of this place and some interesting information, but it's all in the Burmese script. I found out the other day that Burmese, this script is not included in the Google Translate system. I tried to use the camera. You know, you can point it at other languages and the camera will automatically translate it into another language, into English in my case. But it doesn't work with Burmese. It does not recognize those circular letters. So, I don't know if I've really learned anything of real interest so far on this trip, other than the nature of the island itself. Man, like I said, it's such a beautiful green setting. And this building here is probably quite important, but since I can't read anything, I don't know what it is. One of the ideas behind the 5-fact challenge was that it would get me, encouraged to talk to people, ask them questions to learn about the place where I am. But so far, everywhere I've been, no one has spoken enough English to be able to talk to me. So even though I've asked questions of different people, I get smiles, a lot of smiles, but no facts for my challenge so far. Oh, the sun is hitting this one quite nicely. And I think I'm going to go inward just for a minute before I complete my trip all the way around the outside. Just want to see what's going on in here in the interior. One thing I'd like to learn is the name of this creature, the snake-dragon combination. I think that's another big one right here. Yeah, there he is. That would be an interesting fact. And this is a beautiful little spot in the middle of the island. Feels very much like a park. I've had to resort to the internet for my 5-fact challenge, and what I was most interested in were the hand gestures of the Buddha figures. And I remember reading about this many, many years ago, and probably at different times in my life, but I always forget. And I don't know the terminology in Myanmar exactly, but from what I saw online, the various Buddha hand gestures are known as mudra, and each mudra has a name and a meaning. This one, for example, with the right arm falling downwards, facing the viewer, is called the Varada mudra, and the 5 fingers represent generosity, morality, patience, effort, and concentration. So the Varada mudra stands for compassion and charity. So that will be one of my facts for today. The Varada mudra, standing for compassion and charity. I also used the power of the internet to come up with another fact. I was wondering about these creatures that are snake-like but have kind of a dragon head. I'm not sure that this word is used in Myanmar, but from what I saw online, these are known as naga. And they're understood a little bit differently in different parts of Asia. I seem to remember that from Thailand, learning that when I was there, but of course I forgot it. Fact 2 of the 5-fact challenge: the guardian snake dragon is known as naga. I also had to resort to the internet to learn something else, and I learned that the other name for this island is Ruby Island, and according to legend, the Nat King tossed a ruby down from heaven, and this ruby grew and became this island to provide a shelter for the Buddha during a storm. There's another beautiful site here on the island. It's just lovely and peaceful, though very hot, I have to say. All I'm doing is standing, and I'm just drenched in sweat. I mean, simply existing is like being in a furnace. So hot. I think I just discovered the origins of music. Bamboo. I can imagine, people tens of thousands of years ago coming up to bamboo and tapping on it. Yeah, you get a different tone depending on how wide it is. So the very first, is that a xylophone? No, can't think of the name for that, but yeah, someone could easily pick up on that and play something on there that is very pleasant. And music has been born. I've created music. I knew there was a reason to come out to this island today. I've made music. And while I was playing the very first music ever on the bamboo, it really hurt my knuckles. That bamboo is really hard. So I would probably pick up a rock or a stick and start hitting the bamboo with that rock or a stick. There you go. I've just invented tools. All I have to do is invent fire and civilization is on its way. And it looks like they're renovating the central stupa. That amazing bamboo scaffolding. There's an interesting science fiction puzzle. Take a planet like this, where human civilization developed. Remove bamboo, like just remove the species of bamboo from the world. Would civilization ever have developed? Because we use bamboo in so many different ways. There's another dock down here. Oh, there's the guy with all of the wood. So all that wood that I saw on shore, this is where it's ending up. Same guy. He loaded the boat, now he's unloading it. Hey. Hello. Ming lava. And I forget the official name of this mudra, but that is the most common one, with the right hand touching the earth. And I believe that's the English translation of the mudra, touching the earth. One of the many things I know nothing about is what, being a novice monk means to young boys here. Like when they think about it, what does it mean to them? Is it something that they only do temporarily? Like do all young boys, join a monastery for a couple of years and then go back and join the real world afterwards? And some of them would continue on and be monks. Or are all the novices here intending to be monks in the future? Yeah, I don't know. There's no one here that speaks English, so I couldn't really ask anyone about that. But I was just standing beside another beautiful site. Oh, and this might be the main source of water for the whole island. There's a well here. And then a hose going down, probably attached to a pump. Oh, I see. So they probably have a water cistern up top there. And then they turn on the pump and fill that big container up there. And then they have water that's gravity fed out into this container over there. That's certainly something you can never get away from. If you have an island like this that's inhabited, the only way it could be inhabited is if there is a water source. There's no water here. There's no people. And this creature here is going to be fact number 4 for my 5-fact challenge. This is another guardian of the temple, and they are known as Garuda. You can see that it's part human and part bird, and I think they're represented sometimes with more or less bird-like features. And according to what I read, they're very large and very fierce creatures, but kind of benevolent and kind. They just don't like evildoers, and they have a bit of a feud going on with the Naga, the snake-like dragon guardians. Garuda. This poor guy seems to be stuck in this bucket. I guess he fell in there and the sides are too slippery for him to get out. So we're going to give him a little bit of a helping hand. There he is. He seems to be overheating. Okay, let's see. I'll put the bucket down for you. At least I'm assuming he was trapped. Maybe he liked it in there. That was his home, and I've ruined his home now. There you go, buddy. I thought it would run away instantly. I talk about benches all the time, how I like to find benches. In this case, I found a swing. I was just curious whether I could fit onto it or not. I sort of can. I just have to make sure not to crack my head. Oh, it is nice to sit down though, I have to say. Oh. I didn't bring any water with me today, which was a big mistake. But I have been finding on a lot of days here, I've been bringing a big bottle of water, and it gets so hot because I had it in the outside pocket of my knapsack. And when it gets that hot, I can't even drink it. It just won't go down. So I end up carrying a liter of water around all day and never drinking any of it. So today I thought, forget it. I won't bring any water at all. And now I'm kind of dying of thirst. All the other temples I visited, they've had, containers of drinking water spread around. I haven't had any, and I meant to talk about this before, but I never brought it up. The bottles, the big bottles of purified water that you find here, they don't look new. So I never know whether I can really trust them or not. Like, I'm used to seeing these bottles of purified water, and they're like clear blue plastic, and you can see the water, and they have a seal on them, and you can kind of look at them and like, oh, that looks like it just came from a purifying center and it's clean and fresh water. All the ones I've seen here in Myanmar, basically, you can't see through the plastic, and it's all really old and dirty looking bottles, and they just don't look like they've been filled with fresh purified water. It looks like someone could have just filled them from a tap or filled them down at the river and then, you know, brought the bottle over. So I haven't been able to quite trust them yet. So I've never drunk from one of those bottles yet. But I'm so thirsty right now that if I saw one, I would probably drink from it. Yeah. Yeah, this is quite nice. I get to rest my head against this bar. I'm thinking about my 3 facts that I have so far with my 5-fact challenge. Oh, maybe there's 4 of them. No, there's 4. Let me go through it in my head. Yes, I have 4 facts for my 5-fact challenge. I need one more. I can't even speak. I'm so thirsty. I did a bit more reading about this place on the internet, and on the sites that I found, there's supposed to be a book about the history of this island in English, and whenever that person came here, you could buy a copy of this book from, you know, monks or novices at the entrance to the island, but I didn't see anything there. If I did see such a book, I would buy it, and I'm sure I could get my 5th fact from that book. I'll keep my eyes open for it. Well, let's continue my walk around the island. Also, when I was reading about this island, people were saying that it was in a horrible state of disrepair, you know, that it fell into ruin during World War II or something like that. But I don't know what year those people were visiting, because I'm finding it to be in very good repair. You know, it's very well manicured. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's like a manicured garden, very nicely set up. You know, someone's been working very hard to take care of all of the plants and that sort of thing. I'm at the far side of the island now. I've got the bridge ahead of me. As always, flip the camera around and let you see it. There it is over there. And there's a little bit of the water down there. I mean, it's still something of a wild place. I mean, you get a lot of these, you know, this natural growth of trees, but around the pagodas, like even here, you know, you can see someone planted this and this and this. They've all been planted at regular intervals. I think I've seen lots of potted plants, you know, places just very well cared for. This is a good example of what I was talking about, how the whole island is really well cared for. Just a beautiful little garden here, potted plants. And these are very interesting. It's like thatch or grass wrapped tightly around a pole, and then all these seedlings growing out of them. I'm back by the waterfront where the boat dropped me off and where I guess I'll be picked up at some point. And look at all of these plants hanging from this metal trestle. Yeah, and then all these bushes here, planted inside pots and planted in the ground. Yeah, it's like a beautiful spot. Well, today I did not succeed in my 5-fact challenge. I'm waiting for my boat down by the dock, and I only have 4 facts about my trip to Shampoo Island. Fact number 1 is the Varada Mudra, which is the one-hand position of the Buddha with his right hand facing the viewer, but the fingers extended facing down, the palm facing the viewer, and that is called the Varada Mudra. Though I don't know for sure if that's what it's called here in Myanmar, but it represents charity and compassion. Fact number 2 is that the snake-like guardian with kind of a dragon feature head, that is called a naga. Again, I'm not positive that's what they're called here in Myanmar, but that's a name that I found commonly used for them in other countries. Fact 3 is that another name for this island is Ruby Island, and that comes from a legend that the king of the gnats, and the gnats are, kind of supernatural, powerful creatures that are known in Burmese history. They kind of predate Buddhism, and from what I read, the king who introduced Theravada Buddhism to Myanmar, to this region, he didn't fight that local belief, he just sort of incorporated the belief in gnats into Buddhism. So that's where the gnats come from. But the king of the gnats threw a ruby down from the heavens, and it landed in the water here, formed an island, and I believe this island gave shelter to the Buddha during a storm. And that's where the name Ruby Island comes from. And fact number 4 is another guardian that I was curious about. I saw a guardian at one corner of some of the pagodas, and it was a human figure, but with bird-like features. And I found out that those are called Garuda. Once more, I don't know for sure that that's the name used in Myanmar, but that's the name I found online. And these Garuda can often be shown with more bird-like features, like big talons and things like that. And they're known to be very large, fierce creatures, but very benevolent, very friendly. They only mean harm to evildoers, so you don't have to worry about them. And there appears to be a bit of a long-standing feud going on between the Garuda and the Naga, though I don't know who started that. And that's it for my 4 facts. I mean, I learned other things about Shampoo Island, Oh, I do have fact number 5. Yay! That was my very first fact. I completely forgot about it. And in fact, I'm failing anyway because I can't remember it. I learned the local name for Shampoo Island. What is it again? I completely forget. Nongsa Island? Guanse. Ha! Fact number 5. Shampoo Island locally is known sort of as Guanse Island. Of course, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. Success. The 5-fact challenge. I overcame at the last minute. I thought I was going to fail, and I totally forgot about the first fact that I came across. There's my guys who are delivering firewood, and it looks like they have a lot of bailing out to do. Their boat is sinking. I wonder if they're going to signal me to join them for the trip back to shore. Should I join a sinking boat? So I'm joining the sinking boat. Hopefully it stays afloat till we reach shore. It's a working boat, this one. There, okay. Yeah, go. And we're off. So there's Shampoo Island behind me, saying goodbye, and my new boat driver back there. It's nice out here on the water. Get a bit of a breeze going from the boat. It's one thing missing on that island. There's no wind out there. That's why I was sweating so badly. Oh, there he is. There you are.
How are you?
Thank you. And these guys aren't done yet. They still got a lot of wood to carry out there. Time to put my sandals back on. I noticed when we got to shore, the boat driver had to confirm whether I had paid anybody or not. So he shouted at someone on shore, you know, hey, this guy, this white dude, did he pay yet? What's the deal? And someone shouted back, no. And then the young guy who originally quoted me the price of $5,000, he came running down to get the money. I'm curious whether that is the real price or whether it was like I was supposed to negotiate or something. I'm not that worried about it for me, you know, whether I pay $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000. But I don't want to inflate the price for every other foreigner that comes along, you know? If they just throw out any crazy number and the foreigner pays it, then they start thinking, hey, we can just get whatever we ask for. But I guess that's capitalism, right? What the market will bear. Can't argue with that. All right. I was going to head in this direction to go back, thinking instead of backtracking, I would return to my guest house, you know, a different route. But I just checked on the map, and this brings me way out of my way into the far side of the ridge and everything, and there's just no way of getting easily from there back to where I need to go. So I'm going to turn around and backtrack the way that I came. Task number one for when I get back into the city is find some cold water. I haven't found an ice cold water location yet, except for my guest house, I guess. That's actually the best place because the water that comes out of their cooler is the coldest water that I've come across. When you go into the shops, they don't seem to have their coolers set to a very cold temperature, so I can't get any consistently cold water yet. But I spotted this little place in here just now, and I saw a refrigerator. And maybe I can get a cold drink here, along with the dock workers. Oh. Hello. There we go. Oh, all cold. What do we got in there? Oh. Two. Yeah. I was just talking about being unable to get cold water anywhere. And then I walked into this little place and they had water in the freezer there. It's not only cold, it has ice in it, actual ice water. So I got two of them. Ice cold. So good. Very good. This is where I'm getting the cold water. I think these sorts of places, they evolve naturally. Like it would have been just a garage for the house, you know, or a workshop or something like that. But then they have a fridge. So they start putting cold drinks in the fridge, start selling it to their friends, make a little kitchen. And then before you know it, you've got a little business serving food and drinks, and they start buying entertainment. They've got like a TV up on the wall there. You know, cable TV. They probably have karaoke here as well. They've got lots of, those look like big speakers to me. So maybe they have, oh yeah, look at that, a huge set of speakers. So they probably host parties and events here as well. So that little shop behind me, that was my lucky shop. Supplied me with some ice water when I badly needed it. And I think that takes me to the end of my trip to Shampoo Island. Very successful little day trip. My favorite kind, you know? Like a very interesting place to visit that you don't have to travel for hours and hours to reach. It's like right here in the town. You just walk down to the river, hop on a boat, and then you're there at the island. Nothing could be easier. And it's a very pleasant island to visit. No, you know, giant attractions out there, but very well cared for, very garden-like, very peaceful, very quiet, and brimming with facts for the 5-Fact Challenge. The end of my trip to Shampoo Island, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'm thinking that these are actually gnats. So they are, you know, temple guardians. But most temple guardians are kind of ugly or fierce looking, you know, with animal features, meant to be very scary and frightening. But gnats, even though they're powerful, are always thought to be quite beautiful. So these, I think these are gnat figures, which they're kind of unique to Burmese beliefs and Buddhism here in Myanmar.